Hi, welcome to Soul Food Ministries and Outreach. I'm Henriette Hobson. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the focus of this channel, which is no more Jim Crow. We are not going back. No matter what it looks like, no matter how many laws are taken off the books of civil rights and what have you. You know, when you're praying and when the Lord begin to intervene in your situation, God said no man can curse what he's blessed, and they cannot close the doors that he's opened or open the doors he's closed for us against the enemy. Now, first of all, this is all alleged. My First Amendment right. That's throughout the whole entire ministry, at any time that I'm talking and saying and doing anything. It is for entertainment purposes, ministry purposes, information purposes, for encouragement. And even though it doesn't sound encouraging sometimes, it is to encourage, because corrective criticism is to bring correction, to help you, to give you something to think about and go, food for thought. That's soul food for your soul. To say, does that apply to me? Maybe I should think that out a little bit more. And sometimes we don't, because we get caught up in whatever it is that we have, whatever, our belief system has been growing up, and, we've developed from whatever, or sometimes it's forced. The environment pushes you into, whatever. But everybody's welcome. There's a racism or prejudice here. I'm not gonna go into the whole long spiel, but you know me by now, those that have been listening to me. And so there we go with that. Now, I made a video. It was really good and really anointed, but I cut it off because, I don't like to expose my family, because, a lot of people do get on here, and I understand the venting and needing to, expose and feel like you have somebody you're talking to or whatever. But if you have family, a mate, unless they really acting up, the whole cheating business and all that, I understand exposing them, because obviously those people do not respect you. So anyway, but it was just something I have been and am going through, and I didn't want to. I don't. A lot of times we will allow our hurt to cause us to lash out and think that it is beneficial, that somebody's listening, but nobody can really do anything about anything but God, really, if you really want it fixed. This is about going through painful situations. A lot of people say, well, the Lord allowed this or brought this, or, what? No, he don't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. We did this. Regardless, as if you even, I know this, well, little children didn't ask for it. No, they didn't. That I know of. People talk about in heaven, and folks, spirits, people, the spirit of the person asking for. I don't know about all that. But what I do know is that there's evil in this world, and it's going on. And as believers, born again believers, we've been equipped with a certain amount of authority and power to intercede for those. We're not doing a good job at that. I admit, even myself, and I have to remind myself about it and do it more. And because we're so zeroed in on ourselves and what we're going through ourselves, that we kind of lose sight of what everybody else is going through. I mean, I'm talking about the deep stuff. Sometimes, like if you're looking at the news or whatever, or you hear about someone, a tornado came through and people are homeless and someone passed away or whatever, it's easy to, go, Lord, bless them, help them, whatever that situation is about that. And even give to the GoFundMe or what have you. But what we're hearing about now and what is going on in the majority of homes in the world, families, even if it's not in their home, but everyone's pretty much life is touched with some form of this horrible mess that's going on through the Epstein file. The awareness of the trafficking, the molestations, the grapes, all that. I said grapes because they don't want you to use the R. I don't even know why with all these pictures that they showing about all this. What in the world would be wrong with saying a word? But anyway, I don't run YouTube or in any of these social medias. So we really need to use our weapon of intercession to break through. There have been situations where deep intercessors have broken through on even, the government, stopping wars, and a lot of situations. If you go back into the Old Testament, particularly, there are more nation events of prophetic life through the prophets of old that it was worked out because there was a lot of wars and what have you going on, and you will see, everything is there. Everything is there because it's a foreshadowing of Jesus Christ and what he was going to come and do and what God has been trying to get to man from the very beginning. But you will begin to see how he speaks of when a man or woman of God intercedes, how they break through and nothing can touch them. They can go into wars and reverse the war from against their people. It's been a lot done. It's like, the one prophet had the sun to stand still, or is it the earth to stand, whichever one, stand still in order for the battle to be won, to give them more time and daylight to win the battle. And then you've got another prophet that would go in. Now he's not astral projecting as the astral projectors do, but it is the same result of going in and getting information. And he would have information about what the enemy was plotting and planning. So much so that they were losing and could not figure out why, with all that they had going on for them. And then it got to a point so much so that the king and the leader of that particular, I don't remember, the names of the nations or anything like that. I'm just kind of reminiscing back, where he would say, we must have a spy in the camp. It's as if someone is in my private bedchambers and hears everything and sees everything. And the prophet of God could hear what was going on in the enemy's camp and could tell the people of God what was going on, what the strategy was, what to not do, and what to do. So, we have a power, and I'm encouraging myself all while I'm talking. You have to remember, I think the Old Testament is great to read. Of course, it's great to read. But one of the benefits of it is the miracles are just so everyday life as you see everyday life, going on that you got to deal with it. Now we've got some people in our government now. Oh my goodness. That it's unbelievable the stuff that's going on. I mean, I'm so grateful to the Lord. I'm just so grateful to him. He's just so awesome. See, first of all, we got to pray. You pray that these people will get born again and baptized in the Holy Spirit and change and not do these things, not do this, not think this way, and have this mentality of criminal, heinous evil and all of the above, But then you also have to, in the midst of all that, Lord, shut them down, move them out, because they are killing people and they're robbing the entire country. And it's not really any respect of person. Even though they're racist, mainly against Black Americans, even though we're the ones that, without us, none of this would be. Our country would not have been at all as wonderful as it was, as far as comparison to other places with freedoms and democracy. But they're wanting to, and they're working on trying to find a way. God's not having that, because we're not having it, because we have gone and petitioned the Lord, and he heard our cry, and he's working on our behalf. But besides all that, they've gone in and they turned against their own people that look like them. Snatched their jobs from them. I mean, but see, that's what you get for supporting. Not that I want to see anything that happens. It's just a term, but it really is for supporting and living your life and your mentality on racism, wanting to treat Black people less than, thinking that you are higher and more superior than. And let me tell you something. Satan doesn't love anyone, any color, no matter what you do for him. He's going to destroy you eventually. And so you've got people that are still supporting this man. And the more that I am learning about the dark side of government, not just this government, but government around the world, and people that worship and serve Satan, even though they have many coverings of sheep coverings, as they say, the wolf and sheep covering. They look like ordinary people, collars turned around people, you name it. They come in any form that they can use. Now, just like on Instagram, okay, I get a lot of men, hitting me up, and it's like to the point that, I got tired of it, because I got a couple of crazies. You want a nice little following, but you don't want that. And, even if when I respond and say, listen, no, this is not what this is about. blah, 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 blah. I don't care, you know. you know, so then I put them in my profile. I am not interested in hookups. What else is it that what else can I put on there? And so there's this springs up here and there now and then. I don't know what triggers it, how it works, but sometimes it just floods it. And then when I try one, just say, okay, it looks cool, and the first thing I start off with when they DM me with, hey, hi, or hello, whatever, how are you, blah, blah, blah. I start off with, I'm fine. God is really good. I love him. He is what I give them my spiel about Jesus and what I'm about off the top. And then you will find out what they're about. And then, some of them, the nutsos, they will come back in a form of a woman's picture that they have plucked up off of. It's really something. And then when they want to sell you something, to kind of scam you, get some money out of you, they do that too. So you just kind of have to really be careful about. And I have a private page, so I and it's difficult, because I let that, and one person, they were all cool for a long time. And it was something that they tended to be wanting to hear from the Lord and, get their life, whatever, deal, more enriched. And one day my husband sent me they don't even know, my husband's not on my page. It's my page. That's for me. And I don't have anybody on that page but me. A couple of times I've put my granddaughter on there, and she's just such a cutie, and we have so much fun, and a couple of situations just warm my heart so much that I put her on there with me. But that's all about just, it was something for me because it felt like I was disappearing. And everything was appearing to be taken away from me, kind of like, without going into any detail. And my dreams weren't coming to pass as I wanted. And I just felt like I was disappearing, just let's say that. And so also it was another reason that I put it up there, but it was, but pretty much it was just about me having a page and just expressing me, keeping me from getting lost even within myself, not letting the enemy have an opportunity to just shrink me to nowhere, to nothing. So anyway, I chose a picture. First, I didn't have a picture of myself for a long time. Then I put a picture up of me that wasn't recent, but I don't look that much down. Well, now I might look, but of course I was younger, but smoother skin and things a little tighter, but I look pretty much that way, now. Just have to wear a little makeup and cover up some dark areas, dark spots. I didn't have any dark, like I said, I didn't have any dark spots or areas under my eyes up until this year. Craziness. So anyway, and so, it's a nice looking picture of myself. I'm covered up. You can't see anything, as far as, no cleavage, no bump in the trunk, nothing, everything is just, and matter of fact, I'm in black because I was on my way out on a New Year's Eve with my husband. And so I took that photograph, and it had Christmas in the back still. And it was just a nice photo, and I liked it. And it wasn't nothing revealing. You couldn't see anything about me. And it pretty much represented me. So then it gets a lot of attention. And I thought, well, anything else I put up there is going to be, so I'm just going to leave it there. I like that picture of me, and it represents me. Well, so recently, this man, he DMs me, oh, how beautiful, and what have you. This is not what I plan on talking about, but I'll get to what I'm talking about. Oh, how beautiful, and is that you? Recent. First of all, it ain't your business. I can put any picture up there I want. And you don't even, first of all, I wouldn't even, you think I want to even deal with anything like that? If I was available to do it? And I could tell you, no, that's not even me. You don't even know if that's me at all. So when you ask somebody something stupid like that, I know people, catfishing and all this kind of crazy. I ain't got time to be trying to catfish nobody. I'm not looking for anyone. And so, but anyway, this other guy, I forgot to finish telling you. My husband sent me a little good morning coffee kind of, it was really cute. It was so cute and lovely and just warm, about the Lord or something was on there. And when I sent it to my son, because it was just so warm and uplifting, and then I heard, send it to this guy that seemed to be such a nice gentleman that wanted, that loved the Lord and so forth and so on. And so I normally don't even, and so I sent it to him. And I said, the Lord had me send this to you. I was sending it to my son, and he said, send it to you. I said, so I hope that this encouraged you, or whatever I said. I don't remember what I said. Well, then the next day or somewhere, he comes up with something about being catfished. And I thought, oh, okay, I see who he is for real. There was no real reason for it. So I knew it was directed kind of in my, and it wasn't, I don't have a whole lot of people that is in my space. So I said, okay, there it is. Delete, block the whole, I have time for that. You try to minister to someone, share the uplifting joy and strength of the Lord to someone, inspire them, and you're shallow, silly, and I don't have time for that. I would not even, you know what? Listen, let me tell you something. When I was even young, that was me pulling my foot off of a leather sofa, so it wasn't any rude, non-mannered situation. I value me. I don't play that. You don't get, these young girls, let me tell y'all, they silly. They let people, have all of them and all their space and time. And no, now these, not these ones. I'm not talking about these ones that go on a first date and then, order food for the whole house. Woo! We got some things out here, let me tell you. So, I don't even know how I got in on the Instagram thing, and social media thing. But, this is about me, my what I'm doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing for the Lord. This season in my life right now, it's hard, but it's not. It's some painful stuff. Family stuff, but it's painful because I'm having to humble myself, rearrange me, put up with some stuff I don't want to put up with. Okay. Some things that I wasn't raised to put up with. And so that's where this comes in. Because you can have a mentality of, you know what, listen, especially when you're kind to others. And then people want to come and step in on your and it's not that I haven't done some things and stepped on some toes and done, because I have. I know I have. Anybody that's living have. And raising my children as a Christian, a real Christian, they became resentful because there was a lot of things I wasn't dealing with, having to deal with them, and wasn't allowing them to do the way I believed and do believe still, even though I compromised a few things for them, thinking, because, you want your children happy. But I was married to an unevenly yoked person. And so then there goes the division. Okay. And of course, most of the time, they want to yield to the side that says, oh, it's okay to do this or that. And so, every time it seems as if, and I grew up this, no nonsense with, even though I learned to allow, some of it after becoming born, baptized in the Holy Spirit, thinking that I'm living out the love of Jesus. Jesus didn't tolerate that mess. Like, Lord, why do I have to deal with this? You didn't tolerate that. But you know what? For what he has got for me in ministry in my life, I believe that's the reason why I am going through a lot of what I'm going through. The only thing is, it's extremely, extremely difficult and painful and challenging. People think that God brings trouble into their lives. He doesn't. It's stuff that we've developed up on our own, that other people in their, because my own personality about living in the hood and, you don't cross that line kind of thing. And, it's pride. A lot of it's pride, and so God is not about pride. Handling things, in the hood. In the hood. Unfortunately, and anywhere else, because it doesn't make any difference how high level your economic status is and where you live, gated communities or whatever, Hollywood's best, Beverly Hills, yeah. You don't. You just, don't do that. And folks be pulling out weapons and standing ground, in a way that there's nothing wrong with standing ground, but it's how you do it. And there's some things that you have to just don't respond to that I should say, and used to eating me like acid, you know. And I'm going to come forth with the reaction from the pain. And basically, I'll back off and just leave you alone, and you won't ever see or hear from me again, you know. And so it's some stuff that just kind of been happening and happened again after another chance, and some unfair, unjust stuff, you know. And it's like, Lord. And I mean, I have lost some sleep about it. The enemy, but it's the enemy make you toss and turn and put, you know, bringing it back to your mind and what you ought to do about it. And you wanna pick up that phone, you wanna do, you know, something. And so I can't. Now, the Holy Spirit is really helping me. And he is easing. You know, it's like, why does it have to be like this, Lord? There's got to be an easier way. And it might be, I mean, I'd be putting enough into it to bring it about quick enough. But no fault of God's. And so I've just been not meditating enough, and I should more, and I'm going to, and I'm doing it. Applying the blood to my soul to heal me. You know, it's not them, blame, you, regardless if it's valid or not. You don't heal that way well. And so I'm healing. And I'm like, Lord, if this is about, you know, if this is you, you know, that's wanting me to, you working something out so that I can be ready for what it is that you want me to do, and that what you put in my heart that I can do in the future, a little bit, you know, later. Okay, but you know, you really are going to have to help me, because this is torment, and you're not about torment. And so I realize each day as I labor before the Lord with this and apply the blood of Jesus to me and to, you know, just the whole situation, applying it to me, it's about, you know, and I feel the pain lift, you know, the soreness is lifting from it. And that desire to lash out. I don't want that controlling me. And so it's a challenge. But I'm just wanting you guys to know that don't blame God ever. He's working some things out. He doesn't bring pain and sorrow and hurt to us. The world does that. Satan does that through the world and all the craziness that's going on out in the world. And in the midst of all of that that's come against you, he works out something that Satan got in and got there, you know, through a way of believing and thinking and handling things, and a wall that has went up, or, you know, some kind of altar that's been built throughout your life, or a portal opened or whatever. He's shutting and closing and destroying it all. It doesn't feel good. Demolition does not feel good. And he's destroying, tearing down those altars and those places of, you know, open portals and entry areas where the enemy has gotten in, constantly trying to get into, not in and possessing you, but just in your way of thinking, your way of believing, and just the way that you have learned to handle yourself. It's difficult because you tend to get angry at yourself for allowing some things because of your love and care that's in you. And it's like, okay, then Lord, you're going to have to help me to be more efficient in dealing with those smaller details. I need my angels to come forth. And I know that there's things that God spares us from, and he stepped in that we don't even know he stepped in about. So, it's easy to, don't get to that place where you start blaming God, because God is working on our behalf for the good. He always is, no matter how horrible it feels, even when it is a death in the family or a loved one or whatever. None of that feels good. I've lost many, many loved ones throughout my life, and I don't even really go to funerals anymore. I'm just at a place right now where I've just kind of backed out of some stuff, and I needed to. We all need to, but I think people don't do it enough, especially when it comes to family, is that you think that but that's family. You know what? When it comes to God, family has hit the back burner when he's trying to work something and do something with you. He knows what they're capable of and what they have planned. And sometimes he tells you to walk away from the person you never would want to walk away from and be a part of in their life. But, and a lot of times you're so close in with people, especially family members, that you cannot see that they are dangerous. They look like they love you, and you have no idea how they are working against you. I have had a family member that I thought was full on in my corner and that I trusted, and they was working witch stuff, and I was a little Lulu, easily, but this was a close person. And so, it is very important to not get too lovey-dovey, warm and fuzzy with anybody. I don't even care about it if it's a spouse. There are so many people that their spouses are working witchcraft. I have counseled people that, listen, their spouses are working stuff on them and they didn't even know that it was going on, had no clue whatsoever. And if it's not your own blood family on your side, your in-laws could be working it on you. This is, so I don't know what kind of video this is, but there you go. Trust no one. Trust the Holy Spirit. Listen to him. Back away from what he tells you to back away from. You may be thinking, but a whole lot of reasons that you shouldn't back away from them. That seems like, God has given me instructions about some things that it's no way in the world I would have dealt with that way. But I've learned, if you just do what he tells you, before long, you'll find out why. It'll reveal itself. Satan always plays his hand, and he's always seen. And so I just want to encourage anybody that's going through, a really hard season and time with their emotions, and their feelings and the being hurt. Maybe you're going through a divorce, or you found your spouse is not faithful, or your children are acting up. They have, either from, this innocent little kids and getting to be a teenager or whatever, and then you start to find out things about them that they're entertaining or become part of, or what have you. Whoever. You got to get your emotions in check. The Bible speaks about having your temper in check, having your emotions, everything in balance and in control. Because it says a city without walls, your body and your person, who you are, it's like a city. And a city without walls is open to any and everything, dangers. And you got to, have your gates protected. And so we just depending on who you're around, and even what you're looking at on television or social media, what have you, opening up your gates to things that you shouldn't. There's some things that I saw today, that was on there about some Black history. The stuff is so painful, man. It just starts eating. You can't let it eat at you. And you got to learn how to control and compartmentalize and put out the fire of that thing. You may have the knowledge of that, yes, this has happened, this even is still going on. You've got to make sure that you don't let hate enter in. Because I'm going to tell you something. When you look at all of those things, you begin to realize that the hatred and the horrors that white people put up, and people that, quote, fell under white, look white, of different, cultures and parts of the world, what have you, that consider themselves white, that have done to Black people. Be careful, because the enemy wants you to come in and have you hate white people. And all white people are not bad. They don't do that. They don't get involved in that. And they've even, the remnant few, have put their lives on the line for Black people. White people that you all are sitting there and you're not saying anything to your white friends and family that agree with that mess and talk that mess in front of you, and you just sit there and don't say anything and thinking to yourself, I don't agree with that. I think that's ridiculous. But you're sitting there and allowing it to go on, and you don't say, you know what, all that mess is wrong. That's not right. I don't believe in that, because you don't want to be a call-in lover or whatever. You're just as bad as if you're saying it and doing it, because that just, encourages them to, continue on. God said, get away from even the appearance of evil. And so, and I just have to put in there, we got to remember that we can't go to just start hating a whole group of people just because maybe even a majority of them are that. Their culture is, hate and racism and harm to Black people. But that's not everyone. And so to those that shoe does not fit you, thank you for showing your humanity and your love of God. Some of them in the Quakers, they loved God so much that they knew it was wrong. And a lot of them put their lives on the line to help the Underground Railroad, Black slaves, to find safety and be fed, clothed, and, sheltered until they was able to move on, and help them move on, with the danger of, if they were caught, they would have been killed themselves, lost all their livelihood and everything. houses possibly burned down, all that. So let's try to remember that, that we cannot allow our emotions to get the best of us and just start lumping people all together, allowing our emotions to get out of control, lash out at someone and do some damage that you can't reverse, or that will not be reversed for a long time, or do some immediate damage that you don't want. It's just best to shut it down. Just be quiet, be still, pray, listen for God. He's got the answers. The answers are right there. He's already written your answers down. It's already recorded. It's not only written, but it's recorded for you to receive in the Spirit. In the Spirit is there for you to hear and see and get the information and instruct you on what to do, what not to do. Bring ease and salve, the balm of Gilead, the salve of the Lord to heal the wounds of the sin-sick soul. It's there. It's there. And all we have to do is get in Him, stay in Him. Day and night, apply the blood to you. Day and night. Go to sleep applying the blood to your soul, body, and spirit. Of course, the enemy is coming a lot of directions. He'll try to hurt your flesh, your body, make you sick or something, or bring some pain or something that you just don't know what's going on, and try to bring fear about it, and then irritation, and it'll start to build. There'll be a build up, and when something comes, and then that's just, So apply the blood constantly to yourself and to your family, and just let God work through. Be washed in the blood, purify, clean it all out, restore. He said, I'll restore your soul. Where that soul has been broken and fragmented and hurt and harmed and wounded, the same thing with your spirit and your body, He will heal it all. Just patiently wait. Don't thrash out, have road rage or social media rage or whatever it is, and just let God heal the situation. Shut down the pride. It's not that I don't take all that. I'm not with God, though. When He tells you to stand still, you cannot allow that mindset and mentality to rule and be the leader and tell you, oh, you gonna take that? No, you hear the Lord. Stay in peace. Don't lash out at the kids. Don't lash out at the spouse. Don't kick the dog and the cat and the whatever. Just go before God and allow God to just come in. He's already in if you're born again, but just to rise up in you and just bathed you in that river of living waters, the healing waters, to heal that sin-sick soul. Just bathe you, It's so beautiful. It's not easy. It takes a press and a fight to even do it, because everything is coming at you, telling you this and that and the other. And then go tell them, do it, whatever. And you have to just know, no, I am not going to do that action or say those things. As much as I think I have the right to, or whatever that mentality is of how you handle your life. God's love don't make sense. It's so far beyond anything that our natural selves. It feels like it ain't right. But everything is right and righteous with him because there's an end to it that you benefit. He's always got us in mind for the best of the best. And so with that, I pray for the healing of your soul and for whatever the situation is that you're going through, that breakthrough happens quickly. And really, the sooner it happens is the more you put into it. The closer you get to the Lord, the sooner you'll feel better. And then the breakthrough can come outside of you. Well, it's good anyway, anytime. God is always good and awesome and right and fair. And I love him. And I know he loves me because it's the only way I know how to love him. It's with the love he's put in me. And so, it's good. It's great. I feel amazing because I feel stronger. You know, when you have that hood mentality of, don't let nobody disrespect you and all that, it makes you feel foolish and stupid that you didn't respond with let me, or get with somebody. Don't let that control you. There's a lot of dead people because of that. A lot of people that are not with their families or with their spouses or whatever because of that hood. And I'm just talking about hood for black people, but of course I am talking to black people. I want you all to really get this because I know where that. But it's for everyone because no matter what race you are or what your culture is, it's there. It's a spirit of pride. It's Leviathan, chaos, all of that. And so don't even give into it. Let the blood be the power source. Well, the Lord loves you. I love you. And just grow in him, and that hurt will return into joy. He said, I give you beauty for ashes, joy for mourning. And so you just hang on to that and know that that is there for you and it's yours. You've already won. Just don't step out in the wrong spirit with the wrong actions. Don't let the thoughts even continue to, come into, don't entertain it. Throw it out as soon as it comes. Put the blood in it, in front of it, before it. Protect yourself in the blood. Put your helmet of salvation on. The blood washed. See you next time.